right, so Nate, tell the alumni, Eagle Nation, everybody that'll be watching this, what you are up to these days.
Well, what's up, Eagle Nation? Great to be with you all. I got plenty of text threads with some close baseball friends, but I don't get a chance to keep up with everybody. So it's nice to be able to share this. For the better part of the last decade, I've been living outside of the DC metro, running and operating a wealth management firm for a Fortune 500 company, and raising two children, and still married to my wife, Alyssa, who many around AU know because she was there back when I was there. So that's what we're doing with my life these days. Freshman in college, freshman in high school, and the world is ever evolving.
It certainly is. So let's take you back to the late 90s, coming from Tiffin Columbian. How did you go from Tiffin, right in the Dragons' backyard, to becoming an Eagle?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's an interesting story, one that I've certainly told before, but those that pay attention to AU baseball may remember another Tiffin Columbian graduate that came before me, Jamie Detillion, and I always felt like through the course of my life, I was following in his footsteps quite a bit. He'll love hearing that, by the way. So, interestingly enough, I was more focused on playing football at the college level. And my senior year, I fractured my fibula. I missed the last 4 games of the season, and I spent the whole winter training to play football. And baseball was great. And then after some soul searching in the spring, I had about 10 offers to play football, and ultimately I had like 2 offers to play baseball, and one of those was from Coach Shalley. And that wasn't until after Memorial Day of my senior year. So I don't know if they still do it, but back then Division II had the opportunity to run a tryout camp. And so I did that. I came on that day, Memorial Day, after my season was already completed. And he called me up a couple days later, said, "I want you to come to Ashland and be an Eagle." And it was my top destination. I don't want to say it was my only destination, but for baseball, it was the highest and best offer that I had presented to me. And man, I was excited to take it.
And if you would have played football in college, you wouldn't have experienced, as we discussed a little bit before we started recording, the slope in right field at Dodges Field, which is no longer there. And I wouldn't have covered those games for the Times-Gazette back then. And when a ball was hit out there, you disappear.
That's right. You had to be exceptionally tall. I think there's a couple guys on the team that if you put them down in the deep corner, you'd still see the bill of their cap, but not many. And it presented some unique challenges. It probably also took away a couple home runs from some of us left-handed bats, but because they've moved it in now since then and kind of compensated for that piece. But it was the field was unique back then. The infield was always beautiful, meticulous. The outfield presented some challenges with some of the drainage tile and then the slope in right field. Ultimately, that field for us was just such a home field advantage, though, because it was a place that we loved to play and we loved hosting teams, and just great memories there.
The infield was meticulous because Coach Shalley was riding the tractor and making sure it was meticulous, right?
The first person I ever saw, take out a hammer and nail with string and like measure and cut. It was unbelievable what he did to that field to bring it up to those standards. And the infield was always impeccable.
And the team standard, because you played from 99 to 2002. Looking back at it, probably the best 4-year run that this program's ever had. And we've had a lot of good 4-year runs. But you were a part of something that probably hasn't been matched in 100-plus years of baseball.
I'm exceptionally proud of our teammates, my classmates. I don't know that we were the first class under Coach Shalley. I'd like to think we're either the first or the second. And I do feel like we bought into what he wanted the program to be. And we took at face value what he said to us, and we went out and did those things. And so I know the 95 team was well accomplished. I know that the year before I got there, it was like a 500 team, but like a lot of success in the conference. And we came in and we wanted to be a part of that. And so there was a number of us as freshmen that were able to contribute at a very high level to, the 45 win 99 World Series team. And there were some giants that were absolutely on that roster. And then some people that it was just so competitive. And those were really fun times because I went from, Tiffin, Ohio, where there was some good ball players, but it wasn't super deep, great baseball at that part of Ohio. And then to just be put in on kind of a national stage where we go through our Florida trip and I think we lose maybe 2 or 3 games. And then we rip through the GLIAC, and then, what a run in the conference, or not in the conference, but the regionals to sweep through there and get out to go to the World Series. So that 99 team was something special, a lot of legends on that team. And that was awesome to be a part of. But you're right, that 4-year run was something really special. I think when I came in, there was 25 freshmen that started the fall or through fall. And I think we ended up with 5 of us in that 2002 senior year.
Wow.
And so it just shows you kind of the war of attrition that college athletics really is. And, people have to all make their own decisions. But that group was super tight. And it was just for us to be able to best the 99 team's 1-loss record and to win the first game at the College World Series for the program. That was a real feather in our cap.
And to be able to go to the College World Series as a Midwest team, because we always hear about the Tampas and the Central Missouris and everybody like that. But to be able to accomplish that as a Midwest team, and John's done it 5 times, you were on 2 of them. So, I mean, that has to be extra special when you're really going against those giants of Division II.
I'd love to kind of go back and think about what would have happened if we would have been located somewhere south, and how that all would have played out, because, where I grew up, fall ball is football.
Right.
And so where I live now in Northern Virginia, they play baseball all year round, and it's not even the deep South. And so to see what that really accomplishes over a number of years, the amount of at-bats, the pitching, the experience that they get from playing a more year-round brand of baseball, college was the first time that we would play all year between our spring season, our summer teams, and then our fall teams. But, kids all over the U.S. that are farther down south are playing significantly more baseball because we got this thing in Ohio that we love called football.
And you didn't have the facility that we have now at the NIS Athletic Center where they can hit in the fall and hit in the winter. So you didn't have that advantage either.
We didn't have that advantage, but I will tell you that Coach Shalley was at the forefront of mental toughness and the mental game of baseball. And so what we lacked maybe in those types of indoor facilities, we made up for in the form of mental toughness. And I've told Coach Shalley this, but there's a whole generation of kids that I've been able to coach in this area that love drizzle, that love rain, that love a little bit of bitter cold because that's our weather. And we would beat teams because we were very comfortable playing in those conditions where the other programs did not want to compete unless it was 75 and sunny.
That's awesome. So then you go through that, you have a lot of success, conference player of the year, regional player of the year, and then in 2013, you're inducted into our Hall of Fame. So what was that like for you?
That was surreal. It's something that, again, when you walk into the athletic facilities and you see the plaques of those that have come before you, and you're just in awe of how did they do it, right? How did they go to class, get the GPA, your student athletes first, and then all of a sudden you have these physical feats that happen on the athletic fields, and to be asked to be a part of that group or to be selected to be a part of that group was really something special. And I feel so proud that I played with so many people who are in there as well. And again, I think that goes back to Coach and what he brought to the table and what he was asking of us and what he wanted to deliver for the university. Just very special times to be able to go in with those types of athletes at the university.
And you've mentioned John Shalley quite a bit. All-time
Hard not
D2
to.
win. It's hard not to, so I'll give you another chance. D2 all-time wins leader.
Yeah.
Get up close to 1,000 wins just here at Ashland. So what did he instill in you that you've taken away 20-some years later still to this day?
Well, he's very special. He's very special to me. And I grew up in a single-family home, but I always had strong men around me that were at different points of my life. And John came to me at a very important part of my life, as a high school graduate, now looking to be on the college level. And he had expectations for what you were supposed to be. And he let you know when you didn't meet those expectations. And that was the right type of leadership that I needed from him during that period of time. And he also shared that, leaders lead. And I think the best teams in Ashland were always senior-led teams. It was led by the people that were on the field, on the team. And I just remember when he bestowed that to our class. And it was like, this is your team. You guys are going to decide how far this group goes. And there was a Thursday meeting we had with the seniors. And he said, how do you guys want to run your off-season program? And we thought about it and we're like, well, what do you mean? I mean, we've always done it this way. And he goes, yeah, but how do you guys want to do it? And to a person, believe it or not, every one of us unanimously said, we want Friday morning conditioning.
Wow.
And we knew that was the tool that we needed because it helped us go in the right direction on Thursday nights, if you know what I mean.
Fair.
And so that was a decision that we all made, that was going to be what we were going to sacrifice in order to be great in the spring. And so, his leadership traits are something that I've just taken with me and have leveraged since leaving the university.
Well, Nate, this has been fantastic. We always finalize these Eagle Rewinds with, if you're in your area, you're coaching people, they say, hey, I may want to try to go to AU to play baseball or just to go to school. What would your sales pitch be?
It's interesting that you say that because I sent out the snapshot of the magazine Coach Shalley's on here from American Baseball Coaches Association. And I sent it to the general manager of my son's travel ball program.
Wow.
And I said, like, this level is going to be the future of college athletics and what I'm the student athlete profile. And because with the portal and all these things that are happening right now, the chase for Division I think is going to be a hollow and empty chase for many people. It's not going to be fulfilling. It's not going to be the experience that they want. I think you got to go where you can play and you go where you're wanted. And that's why I chose Ashland, because I wanted to have that co-branded student athlete experience. I knew, like most people, I wasn't going to go professional. I was going to have to become a professional in something else. And so I really hope that there's still colleges and universities that are going to be able to offer that true, authentic student athlete experience. And even though me and my buddies, the Eagle Legends, as we call our text thread, we knew we were playing for national championships, but we also knew that we were playing for much more than that.